He can't run through everybody. That, you know, he's not as good as we thought he was.
Well, he's human. I mean, any asshole that said that doesn't think the kid's human. He's a human being. And he just beat the #2 welterweight in the world in the UFC with a couple of fights in the UFC. If you don't think he's the real deal, you're out of your mind.
But how do you do that if you have like a Gilbert Burns, Khamzat Chimaev fight? How do you not give both of those guys a bonus for that? Like Dana did. Dana gave Gilbert his win bonus. It shouldn't go to just Khamzat after the performance that Gilbert put in. I mean, that was an amazing performance.
No, I'm talking about this bonus here with the crypto.
When he spun Khamzat's face around with that right hand, I'm like, holy, Khamzat has a fucking chin, man. Because Gilbert cracked him.
Chimaev, I mean, he's impressive because he ended up winning, but I saw a lot of flaws today, and he's kind of an emotional fighter. If you go back and watch like the elite, these guys, they know how to compete. They know where to win, where they're not. You know, it's okay, you won the fight, but at the same time, it's like, hey, dude, you're starting to expose yourself. You know what I mean? You don't want to show too much of that, and that you're able to take punishment. And I think that's what he showed this fight.
Oh my goodness, what a fight!
And he's probably overtraining too, because he's almost like, I train 5 times a day and all that, dude. All that stuff. If you're able to eat correctly, like you can be the best version of yourself. You don't have to overtrain or continue to keep doing these training 5 times a day like you can't. I think Chimaev, I think he will become better because of it. But the question that I have is, will he change his training patterns? Because he was huffing, bro. You know what I'm saying? He just happened to have a little more heart than Gilbert Burns. And he was able to kind of pull away with it. But another experienced fighter that has been there before, like Kobe or Kamaru, now that changes a little bit. I think he has a better shot at 185 than 170, I promise you.
And this was the true test for Chimaev to really get an eye on him and see how good are you, kid. You
Gilbert
know?
landed more strikes. Gilbert posted it on his Instagram, like the numbers, the breakdowns and the numbers.
What Gilbert didn't do right here, man, his composure, man. Bleeding, his demeanor. I think Chimaev was getting hurt too, though. But now it's like Chimaev needed this humble pie. The key in that fight with Gilbert Burns, it's the Gilbert Burns really fought him in that first takedown, and he was able to, you know, get his respect. You know what I'm saying? And dude, it's tiring, man, trying to take somebody down, especially when you don't get it. So that's what happened.
Gilbert's a very, very tough fighter, and he showed that. He still has a lot left. He's not done, and he's still at the top of this division. You know, and Khamzat coming in, he's definitely showed he's done a great job. You know, props to the kid. He's done a great job with what he's been presented and the opposition. I take nothing away from him.
You know, tonight was a big test for him, and he passed. I mean, think about this too. He's never had that big moment where coming into this week, you know, how many fights this guy got in the UFC? He's got a couple fights. The buzz for him is bigger than the main event and co-main event. Everybody's talking about him. Crowd's going crazy, like we're in his hometown or some shit. And then you come out and you fight a guy like Gilbert Burns, who I'm sure completely felt disrespected going into this fight and wanted to make a point himself. So Teddy Atlas tweeted tonight, which I loved. At the end of the second round, Teddy Atlas said, "We know what Khamzat Chimaev has on the outside when it comes to talent. We're about to find out what he's got on the inside now." And that was going into the third round. Nobody could have said it better.
If I'm being honest, I honestly give him more value. It's so absurd that people are saying he was exposed. Exposed for what? Exposed for what? You just got in the game, right? Your highest level fight was against Li Jingliang. And because of the way that you beat him, you got pushed all the way up the rankings to the #2 guy in the world, who had just beaten Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who had fought for the championship against Kamaru Usman. He was not exposed, Ryan. He was not exposed. If anything, he was proven further to be a guy that is very dangerous as he gets closer and closer to the top of the division. Because now, if Dana is successful in making him in Covington, then you would imagine that he's one more win from fighting for a championship. If he can fight in the way that he did last weekend, if he can show the heart that he did to get through the situations that he got himself into last weekend, this is a guy that will be a challenge for the champ, Kamaru Usman. But no, his stock did not drop at all, because so many times we see these hot prospects, RC, get tested and they wilt and they quit and they crumble. He didn't do that. He kept pressing and he got the job done. Hats off to Khamzat.